Hello, my name is Matt Summers, and welcome to my presentation of my Action Research Project. The title of my project is Identifying Practical and Effective ESL Programs and Tools. And the question that drove this project was, what are some easily used and affordable programs or tools that can be implemented in ESL classrooms? This was a particular interest of mine because at my school, we have over 60% ESL population, and we were very interested in finding effective tools that we could use for our campus, and this led me to think about what would be available that other campuses might be able to use and could afford. Now, I began with looking at the literature on the topic, and there were many studies out there, although I seem to find a predominance of studies looking at computer-assisted language learning tools, or CALL programs, and there were many. One study had 36, another one did 15, although there was some crossover. And among these, the three that stood out as being effective or superior in some cases, Read 180, Ellis, and Tell Me More. The last two I have never heard of. Now, to conduct my research project, I created surveys and interview questions and disseminated those to 25 participants. Among those were teachers, administrators, and coaches from both middle schools and high schools. And they were supposed to return this information so that I could compile it and see which programs were being effective in their classrooms, as well as perhaps find out how much the administrators or campuses had paid for those programs so that I could recommend those to other campuses once we'd found the results. And then because of the return data, I was able to compile a chart, create a chart, and as you can see, there were three primary programs that were recommended. System 44 was the one that garnered the most. It is a CALL program. It's actually compatible with Read 180, although Read 180 was not mentioned specifically. System 44 also has a library, a physical library of books, and the books themselves were created with ELL learners in mind. They have remediation exercises in them. They have phonics practice sheets in them, many other devices which would assist a LEP student in becoming more skilled at reading English. The other two programs mentioned were Fast Forward and Rosetta Stone, and they tied. They were both specifically mentioned by teachers who were using those particular programs in their classrooms, as well as some others, but found those to be the most effective. Now, one of the disappointing aspects of my research project was that out of the 25 participants that were asked to participate, 7 teachers, 2 administrators, and 1 coach returned data. So this limited the scope of my research project immensely. Not only that, but no specific cost data was returned towards the programs that were just mentioned. There were some programs mentioned for cost that weren't on the chart, but they were more personnel intensive type programs, such as a program called City Year, which, although wasn't rated effective, cost about $80,000 to implement. And it wasn't specific for ELLs, but one of the benefits was that it had a few assistants who were bilingual, who would be assisting specifically EOC classes, Algebra 1, English 1, in remediation. But again, it was not listed or not given as a particularly effective program by the ESL teachers who were involved in it. Another thing is that since none of the programs that were given back in the data matched those in the literature as being the most effective, it was rather telling that perhaps we could be using more effective programs in my school. This also leads me to believe that perhaps we should be looking out for more effective things, although I'm not sure of the cost. Again, as I did not get cost data for these to tell me how much they would require to be implemented, our administration is rather young and did not have the data, as all the programs in our school had been purchased prior to their arrival. Now, the implications of all this research. ELL populations are increasing across the state, and as a result, many schools are going to be searching for effective ways to meet the needs of these students. The programs that were returned, all of our teachers found to be very useful. But as shown in the literature review, there are many more out there that could also be very effective. And as campuses or administrations begin searching for what they might try to put in their schools, I would strongly recommend any of the three from the literature or the three that were mentioned here, as well as making sure a cost comparison is used, and hopefully the campuses will be able to find something that they can use to augment their instructional strategies to help these ELL students to achieve the best success they can. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.